Orlando Magic fans, what's going on, baby? Woo! I am shaking. I literally was just like, I need to take time to like calm down before I get live right now. Forget about it. We're going to figure it out. If I press the wrong button, if I do something, who knows? We're going to figure it out. I don't care. I wanted to get on so you guys could get as raw and real of an emotion as possible because we just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 108-103 on national television at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon on their home court to beat them and break their 16-game winning streak. We handed them their 11th loss of the season, and this team still has fight. This is the team that we believed in. This is the team that we thought we were getting this year. I am hype. I'm so ready to be here with you guys. I'm willing to go for as long as you guys want to go for. However many comments you got, we're going to go through them. Welcome to the Sixth Man Show, Postgame Live, presented by Rock'em. Guys, we are out here. I am so stoked. I'm so ready to be just going over this game with you guys. Let's celebrate. It is a Sunday afternoon at 3:40. It's not late. We got time to talk. Let's figure this out. I don't care. Thank you guys so much for joining. We got a lot of you guys. We're already up over 400 people here right now. We already have 127 people in the chat. We have a super chat we got to get to. Let me go ahead, like I did a couple times ago when we had a big win. Let me go ahead and get the sponsorship segment out of the way. So just bear with me for a second, and we're going to go ahead and get into all of this. Thank you guys so much for being here. The Six Man Show Postgame Live is sponsored by Rock'em. Rock'em is an Orlando-based apparel company. They make socks. They make underwear. They are clutch with everything you could possibly imagine. If you're a sports fan, if you're an entertainment fan, they have something for all of you guys. All of you guys. And I actually wanted to give Rock'em a quick shout out for those of you guys who were at the watch party at Stadium Club this past Friday, I believe it was. We actually found out that we got these custom made, not for sale, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. A couple of you guys got a couple pairs if you were at the watch party. But these custom made Sixth Man Show branded socks. They are so tight. I haven't even taken them out of the packaging. I got back super late last night from Orlando. I live all the way down in Naples. But some ones that they do have available for you guys is you've got these stuffed socks right here. I show these off pretty much all the time because they are absolutely fuego. We're going to go ahead and go over here and check out their main page. I got these March Madness socks turned on right here. If you guys want to just throw those on and kick up on the recliner and check out March Madness coming up this next weekend. They have Easter-related stuff. They've got stuff for Star Wars. They've got throwback socks for the NBA. Apparently, Travis Hunter has his own line. Feel how you want about that. I'm not entirely sure. But check out Rock'em at rock'em.com. And if you use the code MAGIC20, you can get 20% off of your order no matter what. You don't have to be buying Orlando Magic themed merch. You can use it whatever you want. I used it this past Christmas and got my brother-in-law a Amon-Ra St. Brown set of socks. He's a huge Lions guy. So use the code MAGIC20 for 20% off of your order. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some super chats, shall we? We have a couple people who have put some stuff in the chat row here. We got Alex Selsky says, it's amazing how great this team can be when the role players show up, play the song. When we check out the box score in a couple of minutes, we're going to see just how good of a game this was for two players, a starter who normally doesn't play very well, who had a phenomenal game. He's on the ticker down at the bottom if you want a little bit of a spoiler, and some role players who were huge for the Magic in this game. But, Alex, you put 3 clutch words in the chat, in that super chat of yours just now. People said that we should have opened the show by doing this, but I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest because I'm just now starting to calm down. My heart rate is just now starting to drop. But, Alex, you said play the song. We're going to play the song, everyone. Come on, let's celebrate. Let's go. Yeah, play the song. Play the song, everyone. Absolutely. We're here. We're celebrating. Another super chat from Michael Martin. He said, we might be rounding into form finally. Look, this is the type of game. that can turn the momentum of a season around entirely, right? Where obviously the best we can finish at is like 45 and 37 or something, right? We're not going to probably win out the rest of the year. But this is the type of game where you can be like, we could potentially make some noise, because this is a team that you might be playing in the first round. This gives you that validation. This gives you that affirmation that you can go onto their home court and you can take care of business. You can win a game that you're not supposed to win. And this gives this young team confidence that even if we can't make it over the 7 seed, even if we finish at the 7 or the 8th seed, that we could potentially make some noise against a team like Cleveland or Boston in the first round. Would it be tough in a 7-game series? Absolutely. But this is the type of game that gives this team the confidence that they need. There's so many chats to get to, guys. I apologize in advance if I overlook your chat. There's so many comments here that I got to try to get to. We're going to do everything that we can to get to all of you guys. But we got some comments that happened during the game. Matthew mentions, thank God this wasn't a back-to-back. I'm pretty convinced that one of the reasons why we slowed down in the back portion of that Timberwolves game when we had it is because it was the second half of a back-to-back. I mentioned on the last PGL that I did on Thursday that if Paolo and Franz are able to get rest in the fourth quarter of that New Orleans game, then they might actually have the energy and the maintenance that they need to actually finish, and you could be looking at a 3-game win streak right now. Unfortunately, you're not. It's disappointing. But because it wasn't a back-to-back, players got rest yesterday. Because players got rest yesterday, we were able to come out on top. We were able to put out good energy. There's a couple moments of the game where we didn't look too hot. We figured it out. We made it work. Okay, so let's see. I'm Jovi with a lot of comments, kind of live commentary. I'm Jovi is pretty good at commenting on these last couple minutes of games. He usually hops in the chat and mentions a couple of things to give kind of the vibes of the close down of the game. So, but he mentions P5 gets hounded and doesn't get a call when he drives, but anyone on the other team gets tapped and instantly gets a call. By the fourth quarter of this game, I was actively screaming at my TV because of the refereeing. Paolo and Franz, they had really rough games tonight. They showed up when we needed them to, but you absolutely should have had more calls. There were so many drives where if that exact same drive happens to a Darius Garland or a Donovan Mitchell or a Jared Allen or really any of the Cavs players, Sam Merrill, or it's just like no matter who it is, it's just like any of those guys on Cleveland are going to get that call. And Paolo and Franz just got frustrated, but credit to them. They put their head down and they still gave us the points that we needed when we needed them. We still came out on top. Janine Richmond, faithful listener of the show, Janine, appreciate you, says, great game from Dell, Kenny, AB, and dare I say Gary today. Let's go. Gary had great energy. We were hounding on Gary a little bit at the watch party the other night because it seemed like he didn't have energy, like he was doing kind of the bare minimum out there, but it didn't really feel like he was interested in playing the brand of game that we needed from him. Tonight, he was playing with energy, or this afternoon, sorry. He was playing with energy. He stepped up to the table, didn't have a big game. I'm not even sure. We'll look at the box score. I'm not even sure he scored. But he was very effective. Oh, he did score because he got the turnover on the full court press and then laid it in. So at least he got 2 points, but I don't know about anything else. But he was extremely effective in that stretch in the third and fourth quarter when we were just pressing them and getting turnover after turnover after turnover. All of those guys were clutch. Kenny was playing with energy. AB was playing with energy. Gary was playing with energy. Full team effort today. This might be the most complete Orlando Magic game that we have seen in weeks, dare I say months. Like, this might be one of the first times where it was a complete team effort, and it didn't seem like Paolo and Franz were like, well, if we don't take this team on our backs, then we're screwed and we're not going to win this game. It felt like they trusted the role players. The role players delivered. They made it happen. Incredible game from the complete team. I'm Jovi says, 17-game stretch where... Merritt says, shout out Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr., 16 points and 14 rebounds. I think at Minnesota, he finished with 1 rebound, if I'm not mistaken, and we were rightfully giving him crap for that. He showed up tonight. There's a lot of situations where I wish he would have put a little bit more of a body on Jared Allen, and Jared Allen was able to get some offensive rebounds in situations like that. Again, didn't come back to bite us, but he played so well tonight. And it's frustrating that he played so well today because this is the type of game that we know we can get out of Wendell on a relatively consistent basis. And if we could get even just 90% of the Wendell that we got tonight, hitting a couple threes, stepping confidently into his shots, really being a presence around the basket, if we could get this Wendell on a consistent basis, it would add leagues to this team's capability and potential. But it just sucks that it just doesn't seem like we're getting that type of game out of him as often as we need to. Couple of other play the song comments. I'm pretty sure that I'm still reading through comments that were left during the game, because when I started the live stream, we were already up at like 80 comments. So play the songs. Merritt says, that's the kind of performance that we need. Absolutely. Matthew says, Paolo pooped on you, Ty. That was interesting. I found it interesting that Paolo chose to talk crap with a player of Ty Jerome's talent. Because Paolo and Ty Jerome, even though it seemed like it with Ty Jerome's floater game in the first quarter, they're not remotely on the same level of basketball player. So the fact that Ty Jerome was like talking crap to Paolo, and I was almost kind of like, Paolo, why are you like continuing this? Like, why are you allowing this to keep going? Like, just shut it down, dude. Just look at this guy and be like, why is this seventh man role player talking to me like this and talking crap when he hit one shot on me, when if I really had the opportunity to body him up, I'd be able to do the same thing 8 times out of 10 down on the other side of the court. But whatever. Not sure I know how to pronounce this. I think it's Bezant 1899. Magic players and fans needed this one. Magic could be back in business. Play that song. Balance amongst the team effort have made this one. Absolutely. Balance is a tremendous word for this game. It was a team effort, a balanced effort. Absolutely. I'm Jovi. We already mentioned good potential momentum shifter for the season. Absolutely. There is no telling how big of an impact that this could have on the psyche of this young team to have a win like this. It was absolutely incredible. House mentions we have to keep this up. This is the momentum shift we need to go into the postseason. Absolutely. Again, I'm going to say it again and again and again. The potential that this shows of just like, hey, we can go into Cleveland and we can take care of a team like this on their court in a big game. You know, it was extremely frustrating because we got to the point where before the game, like it was supposed to be like a national spotlight game, right? And it was just like all the hype videos were about Cleveland and their win streak, which is great. I mean, like there's not a team on a 16-game win streak very often, but they mentioned Paolo like 2 times, and then everything else was just Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, cut to Franz Wagner for a couple of minutes. Not even minutes, a couple seconds, right? Talk about the three-point shooting of the team and Jared Allen and how good he's been with his historically high field goal percentage. Cut away to Paolo doing his dribble routine, right? And then don't get me started on the fact that when they're like, yeah, they lost Jalen Suggs for the year, and then they cut to Trevelin Queen on the bench. Hello? Like, to not even cut to the correct player, it is like they don't even care. And I know that it's true. Like, it's like they don't even care. I say it's like they don't even care, but I just don't think that they do. You know, they see how ticked off Magic fans get, and then they still get communication, they still get talked about, and they still get ratings. Because everyone's like, did you see what they did? And then their videos go up, and they get views, and they don't even care. I'm convinced that they don't give a crap about, you know, pleasing us or you know, showing us in the right light to a national fan base. And it's dumb, but we're a small market team, and that's just how it's going to be. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we are still in the during the game commentary here. Matthew Kinnison says national TV, we looking great. It was really good for this team to come out on a nationally televised game on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, you had the SEC tournament championship game, but you didn't really have a ton of stuff going on. So there was a pretty big chance, and especially with like a team with a 16-game win streak, like there's going to be a lot of people flocking to this game. And a lot of people, unfortunately, didn't see the best version of Paolo or the best version of Franz, but they saw a good, complete, physical, fun-to-watch defensive team, which, would you look at that? It's almost like that's what we thought this team was going to be this year, and that's the team that we got today, and they took care of business against Cleveland on national television. Absolutely tremendous. Friend of the show, Kevin Tucker, just with a simple let's go. Jay Cobb says this is one of those games that makes believe in this team long-term, makes you believe in this team long-term. Absolutely. It wasn't your best 2 players' best games at all, but you still found a way to come up with a win, come up with a hard-fought game, come up with a hard-fought opportunity to come through in the end. And this just shows that, you know, Paolo and Franz, when Franz was like 2 of 10, I think at one point, he was still shooting, right? And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you're like, hey, defer and realize that it's not your night. And then sometimes you're like, no, like you are our team's second best player. Put the ball on the floor. You still believe, even though you've been botching a few layups tonight, like still have the confidence to go in because you can make these. And he made some big shots in the clutch. He hit a big 3 in the clutch. Huge stuff. And yes, absolutely believe in this team long term because of that. A lot of play the song. Another comment from Bezant1899 says, defensive effort became suffocating for the Cavs, the defensive effort we know and love. Absolutely. This was a Magic brand of basketball. You held the Cavs, a historically good offense, to 103 points. I don't think we can, overestimate or overstate how important that is. Like, that's big. And granted, a lot of them was kind of like some three-point shooters missing some shots, which the Cavs are going to have off nights. It's going to happen. And that's what makes their longevity going into the playoffs such a fickle thing, because it's just like you're relying so heavily on your entire team shooting 41% from 3 or whatever. Like, just like Miami went on a crazy three-pointing shooting streak and made it all the way to the finals, right? You can go cold from 3 and lose a first-round series because none of your shooters are hitting their shots. So it just goes to show it's effective when it's working, but it's a dangerous, dangerous thing to build your team around three-point shooting. I'm not saying don't go out and get three-point shooting, Magic front office. But I am saying, it's dangerous to have so much of your team's success built around your three-point shooting, because that is something that can go cold, and that's something that is streaky. So dangerous way to build your team, and it showed today because shooters weren't hitting shots, and that's what happens. So Ross Craig says, what a sweet W to stop a 16-game winning streak. Feels good to win a nationally televised game from Turquoise. Absolutely. Derek Whetstone, KCP was clutch this game. Was that shot that he hit to tie the game at 100 his biggest shot of the year? Like, has KCP actually hit a bigger shot in his time with the Magic than that shot where it was 197. If he doesn't make that shot, they go down. They make it a 2-possession game. The entire rest of the game might be different. He hits that shot, ties the game at 100. Huge moment for KCP. Those types of shots are the reason why we were paying him so much money. Frustrating that he hasn't done it more often, right? But this is the type of game where you look at it and, like, if everything actually were to go right for this team, right, what could this team potentially look like? AB having a good game, KCP having a good game, Wendell having a good game, all the above, right? Joe says, let's just stay consistent now. Absolutely. Let's see. Cameron, we got a international fan here. Says, been watching since 4 a.m. from Down Under. What a way to start the week. And it's my daughter's birthday. We'll have a green beer to celebrate. Cameron, wish your daughter a happy birthday for us at the Six Man Show. And yes, heck of a way to start your day. Hope you're you're not as lethargic as you could potentially be during the day after waking up so early to watch the game, but hopefully it was worth it. I know that if you're me, that would have been worth it to wake up early and watch a game like that. Absolutely. Jorge says, I was not expecting this one in the W at all. All I wanted was a hard-fought game and let the chips fall where they may. Great W. Now let's carry this through the rest of the season. Hashtag 6 seed. I talked about on Thursday how you're not looking great if you want the 6 seed, if you're this Magic team. Excuse me. But it's still possible. And, I mean, you need a lot of things to go your way. You need a lot of chips to fall with some teams ahead of you, losing some games, figuring some things out. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but a lot needs to go the Magic's way in order to make that happen. Let's see. One of my most favorite things to happen. Karen says, the arena was dead silent. Let's go, Magic. I love that. Like, a huge home reaction is great. But to me, there's nothing like a crowd silencing moment as an away team in a big game in the NBA. Like, it's huge. I love it. It's great. Makes me think back to better days with this team earlier this year when Franz hit that huge shot in LA and then everyone just shut up. It was great. Loved it. A lot of comments about biggest win of the season potentially. Play that song. Do you believe in, says sweet, sweet revenge. A lot of talk about kind of getting back at Cleveland for the way that Game 7 ended on our end back in, what would that have been? May, April, whenever it was. Jess says, we needed this big time. Absolutely, we needed this one big time. Let's see, a couple of other comments here before we jump over to the box score. Let's see. Nicholas in all caps. Yeah, brother. Yeah, absolutely. I was screaming a lot. I think I shocked my wife a little bit. She was doing some work for teaching. She was getting things ready after spring break to go back to school tomorrow. And she jumped a couple of times because I would be silent because of my anxiety. And then I would just jump up and clap super loud, and it would just like resonate throughout the apartment. And she would be like, oh my gosh. So sorry to her. Apologize. She probably can't hear me, but if she can, that's okay. And I think it was worth it because we celebrated the win. And she was the one who was actually telling me to have confidence in this team this afternoon when I was like, oh man, I don't want to do a PGL after a big blowout loss. And she was like, well, what if they win? And I was like, that's not going to happen. So shout out to her because she sometimes has more confidence in this team than I do. Let's see. KCP making his wide open 3. Thank you, King, from the only hero. Absolutely. This is all we need. We just need KCP to make these big shots. There's been a lot of big shots this year where he's been in the same situation and he's missed the shot and it hasn't worked out for us. It did today. So, Derek, another comment from Derek here. Gary Harris had some elite defensive plays that absolutely changed the momentum of this game. Absolutely. Yes, exactly. And I don't know what happened. I don't know where that went because that brand of basketball from this team has been missing for so long. But that's how we win games. We do not win games by outscoring teams 125 to 123. We win games in the high 90s, low 100s, where we are frustrating the crap out of other teams and forcing them into offensive sets that they don't want to run, late shot clock opportunities, turnovers on 3/4 and full court presses. That's how this team operates, and that's how this team wins games. And we've lost that. And so hopefully seeing that this game turned out the way that it did, it'll help boost that momentum. I don't know if we've seen the defensive pressure that we saw today since Jalen Suggs' injury. Like, I think that this is the first time that we saw the defensive pressure that this team showed on national television today since Jalen Suggs went down with his injury, because usually the only time we ever see defensive pressure like this is when Jalen Suggs is playing. And he wasn't. And we still showed it. And I think that this will help this team, again, talk about confidence boost, the way that this team was able to show up, show out, make it happen, and realize that this is a brand of basketball that they can play, even if their heart and soul defender isn't out on the court. I think that we can still make it happen. Yeah, Doc 2. Can we talk about that crazy shot by Caleb Houston? Caleb was great the other night in Minnesota. He hit that awesome shot. And I know we could talk about more minutes for Caleb, or, Jet has a big game, more minutes for Jet. Cole has a big game, more minutes for Cole, whatever. But Caleb hit that crazy shot. That was wild. I thought he wasn't even going to get the shot off. And then he just turns around, hits that wild, wild shot. And then the look he gives the bench was like, okay, sure. Let's keep going. John Locke says no Rocket. I totally spaced out. I absolutely should have gotten him out. He was awake too. I wouldn't have even had to wake him up. He was a fan favorite. A lot of you guys liked Rocket last time I did the PGL, so I will go ahead and make sure to take him out next time as well. Especially if we get another win, it'd be a lot of fun. But not today. Another comment. Bring out the victory chinchilla. Hey. Next time the fans have spoken, we'll make it happen. Next time I'm on here and we get a win, don't worry about it. I will absolutely make that a priority. Derek says Paolo gets the calls like Shaq. I feel like Shaq, I'm not sure what context you're saying about that, right? Does he get the calls like Shaq, as in like he never gets the calls that he supposedly needs to get? Or are you saying that, he gets calls? I'm assuming from our perspective, we're saying that he's constantly in the paint, he's constantly going in for shots around the rim, and he's not getting the calls that he deserves to get. I'm going to assume that's what you're talking about there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I completely agree. He drives into the paint, and the whistle that he gets compared to the whistle that some other star players in the league, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, gets is very frustrating. If you didn't watch the video of JB Bickerstaff going off about the officiating last night, by the way, shout out to him, and he just really gave an unfiltered take on everything that was going on. So let's see. Matt Browning, if you know, says resiliency. Absolutely. He came up clutch. My wife, hearing me talk about Rocket, came out and got Rocket. So for those of you guys who are wanting to see the victory chinchilla, here is the victory chinchilla. Here he is. He appreciated the win. He was just running on his treadmill just now. And I will pull him out for the song next time around. Don't you worry about it. Matt Browning makes the comment. Thank you, hon. Resiliency. Crazy game. There's a lot of moments in this game, especially the whole first half, where our backs were against the wall. We came out. We made it work. We made it happen. Matthew Evans says, March Madness magic. I kid you not. The exact words that my wife said when we were driving to church this morning was, hey, it's March. It's March Madness time. Anything can happen. So the fact that you mentioned that, Matthew, my wife smiled so big when she saw me reading that comment just now because she was like, oh my gosh, like that's exactly what I said. She was very happy about this win as well. We're going to go ahead and get over to the box score. We got a couple of other comments here. Charles says, Paolo Banchero, Eastern Conference Player of the Week. I mean, after the 43 ball that he had last night, I wouldn't be surprised. Absolutely. Janine says, shout out to Kojo for stepping into the starting lineup. Kojo was balling the last couple of games. Absolutely. Jovi says, no way they thought that was Suggs. If you go back and watch the broadcast, the time when they say Jalen Suggs has been out for the rest of the year with the injury, and then when they cut to Trevelin Queen, I refuse to believe that was a coincidence because it was very much like they mentioned Jalen Suggs' name, and then all of a sudden Trevelin Queen was on my television screen, and I was like, I don't know. Like, Trevelin Queen actually has a hairline, which means that it can't possibly be Jalen Suggs because Jalen Suggs' hairline is currently on the back of his head already at the age of, 24? Let's see. Any other comments here? Semi says, we ruined all the Cavs fans' parlays. Absolutely. If anyone was emotionally hedging bets and taking the Cavs minus 10.5, I apologize to you, but that's what you get. I was going to, and then I didn't because I refuse to believe that that's what's going to happen here. Okay, let's go ahead and get over to the box score here. Let me see. Let me make sure that I don't miss anything here. All right, box score. A lot of things to talk about here. We have, again, mentioned the fact that this is probably one of Paolo's worst games, and he still winds up with 24 points because he was 37.5% from three, 6 of 22 from the field. He still was a positive on the plus-minus. Franz, 22 points on 19 shots. So this is an example of talking about the fact that your two best players were 14 of 43 or 41, apologies, 14 of 41 from the field. They were combined 4 of 12 from three. Pretty good from the free throw line, but they scored 46 points, but it was not an efficient 46 points, and they still took care of business. And it shows that other people stepped up. How many times this season have we said, man, if just anyone else would have stepped up in addition to Paolo and Franz, we would have won that game? This is an example of the other players on this team stepping up when Franz and Paolo weren't having their best nights. Wendell Carter, 6 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 14 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds from Wendell Carter is huge. Only 1 turnover. He had an assist in there, 16 points. Great game from Wendell. KCP, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 2 huge free throws down the stretch. Did have 5 fouls, but that was okay because he was playing physical defense pretty much all night. And then the other big contributor here is you get 22 minutes of Anthony Black, and he was 17 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from distance, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Added a couple of other stats in there as well. But this is something I want us to look at right here. Is that Gary Harris, indeed, like I said earlier, actually only made 1 shot, and it was that stolen inbounds pass. But look at this. 20 minutes, and in his 20 minutes of game time, he was a plus 17. No other player was anywhere close to that. I think the next best player was Anthony Black with a plus 9. He was a plus 17. Easily Gary Harris's most effective game of the year. No question. Like, easily his most effective game of the year. We'll take that every single time. And we're going to go over here. You really thought that this game was over when Cleveland outscores you 38-25 in the first quarter, and then you don't make any headway in the second. When you were down, 60-47 at halftime, you really thought that this game was over. I thought that this game was over. But what a third quarter, outscoring them 35-23, and then outscoring them by another 6 in the fourth quarter. You got bodied in terms of points in the paint, but 16 fast break points. 15-13 turnover battle was pretty close. Bench points was pretty close. Points off turnovers was pretty close. This was a close game where you had a couple of bounces that went your way, a couple of bounces that didn't go your way, and you found a way to come out on top. And I was absolutely here for it. Let's see. Let's try to get to another couple of comments, and then we're going to go ahead and get to the scores. There's not really a lot of final scores to go over. Because this was the first game of the day, and I think that the Lakers and Suns are playing right now on ABC. those 3 turnovers, the 8-0 run, absolutely changed the momentum. JD 1835, absolutely. That was huge. That was the big moment of the game, right? To where it was just like that was the turning point where you felt like the team was finally going to kind of fall away, and the 10-point lead was going to grow to a 16-point lead, and then the 16-point lead was going to grow to a 20-point lead, and then the game was going to be over, and starters would be out for the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. But whatever clicked in the minds of the team that was on the court at that moment, and that full court press and just absolutely locking them down, and Cleveland just not knowing what to do. Those 3 turnovers, the 8-0 run was absolutely huge. Huge moment in the game. Let's see. Turquoise, again, with an if you know, you know. I'm Matt Browning. Yes, you are. We're all Matt Browning. Some love for Rocket in the chat. We love the love for Rocket. Let's see. 3 straight double-doubles from Paolo. Huge. Steven mentions that. Paolo's been playing great, and tonight's a great example. If he's your best player, even when he's not playing his best, he's playing good enough to keep you in games, and you absolutely love to see it. Let's see. Looks like we have a comment from Nikki. Super chat. Thank you, Nikki. Sorry I didn't get to this a few minutes sooner. Says, leave Suggs' hairline alone. I mean, he's definitely left his hairline alone. I don't know if I will, but he has. And you can feel however you want to feel about that, and that's fine. Nesto says, let's get a real point guard this offseason, Weltman. Exactly. We all still we have a need for a point guard. We have a need for a center. A good game from Anthony Black doesn't negate. Again, this does not negate. Celebrating a win like this doesn't say, oh my gosh, like everything that we've said about us needing to change things is automatically reversed. Like, I mean, I'm sure some people might be thinking that way, but that's not how I feel. It's like I can celebrate this win in isolation and say that this team, when everything went right, when the Cavs were missing shots that in other games they definitely would have hit, in that previous game on national television, they absolutely would have hit. Everything went right for us down the stretch. A lot of things went wrong for them. We played our brand of basketball. That doesn't change from the fact that we need a real point guard this offseason. End of story, right? Like, that doesn't impact how I feel about this team. Excuse me. The longevity of this roster and its construction, that doesn't change anything. So I don't want you guys to take my celebrating this win and being like, oh, everything went well for this team, as saying like, oh, well, we don't need the point guard that we've been talking about. Absolutely not. We still do. Let's see. Mo with another comment saying, poor Suggs. I'm so sorry. Gabriel Ballester with what I've been, Ballister, with what I've been saying for a long time, with what everyone from the Six Man Show has been saying for a long time, is Jalen should just embrace it, become Derek White 2.0 to power the Magic to the next level next season. I think Jalen Suggs would look great bald. Is that just me? Like, I think Derek White looks sick with the bald, no hair haircut. I think he looks fine. I think Jalen should just buzz it off, accept the fact that he is just cursed to a life of baldness, and then just go for it. Embrace it. Make it happen. Stop holding on to the hairline, Jalen. We love you. We support you. But we're also going to tell you what you might not want to hear but need to hear, because that's part of love, is stepping up and saying what someone doesn't necessarily want to hear. And in this situation, maybe it's time to let go of the hairline. That's all we're saying here. Tarek said, man, you're going to make Jalen Suggs shave his head like Derek White. I didn't mean for this to get into a whole conversation about Suggs and his hairline. I'm sorry. I just keep going off the rails. Like I said, I came into this with such a weird mindset of what I was going to do and what we were going to talk about. A quick mention right here. We need AB to get more confident going into the playoffs. Confident AB is so much more beneficial to this team than a non-confident AB. A confident AB is a serviceable, running the second unit point guard in the NBA, and I will absolutely die on that hill. I think he's a great player. I think he was a great pick by the front office. I think he's much more a good pick from this front office than a bad pick or a miss from this front office. I think that he's just not the running the offense on the starting unit point guard of the future. I think he's the type of point guard that could potentially run the second unit, and I think that that's kind of where he's going. But he needs to figure out that just like he is a good finisher around the rim. He can make threes, right? He just needs to understand what his place in the offense is and then figure that out. And then once he gets there, I think that he's going to be great running the second unit consistently for us. I just don't see him as a long-term option at the one in the starting unit, in the starting lineup, and that's what we need to address in free agency this offseason. Or trade market in the offseason, right? Let's see. I think that's pretty much it in terms of comments right now. We still got a couple other rolling in, so we're going to go ahead and jump over here to the standings. We're going to refresh the standings, make sure that we are where we need to be at. And we are currently 32 and 37. We are 25 games back of the 1 seed. We are 1 game back of the Atlanta Hawks for the 7 seed. And they actually have 2 games in hand over us. So they have 2 more games remaining this year. We only have 13 games remaining, which is crazy. They have 15. So we're going to be rooting against Atlanta in the coming weeks. And we are now only 5.5 back of Detroit for that 6 seed. And 6.5 back of Indiana for the 5 seed. So as we were talking about on the postgame live the other night, it would take a significant collapse for either Detroit or Indiana. It would take them really falling apart over the last part of the season, and Orlando really carrying this momentum into these next couple of games for them to jump up and take the 6 seed or even the 5 seed. That is a stretch. I would just be very, very happy with getting above Atlanta for the 7th seed so that we are in the best position possible, hosting that play-in game. We're a great team at home. I think that would be huge for this team. But not saying I'm rooting against it. I think that it could still happen. It would just take a lot for us to get there. If you look over here at the scores, Lakers are absolutely taking care of business, 31-15. The Suns only scored 15 points in the first quarter. It's up to 17 now. And again, I don't think any other games are final. 76ers also played the Mavericks early. Man, talk about 2 teams that are in a much different situation right now than we thought they would be at the beginning of the season. Sixers at 23-44, and the Mavericks at 33-36. I believe that now makes them 2-12 in their last 12 games. Up there, gotta be for one of the worst 5 seasons to be a fan of a team in the history of the NBA with everything that's happened to them. I feel awful for any Mavs fans out there. If you have a Mavs fan, that's a friend of yours, please check in on them, make sure they're okay. Encourage them to seek help because we want to make sure they're doing all right, and we want to do our part there. Raptors taking on the Trailblazers. That's another just barn burner of a game here. Hawks with the Nets. The Nets have not been great this year. But if you don't have anything going on, maybe you want to catch the second half after the selection show at 6 o'clock this afternoon. Check out that game. Root for the Nets. Root for them to somehow take care of the Hawks, for Trae Young to have a bad game, whatever, because we need to make sure that over the last couple of games of the year, we surpass the Hawks for that 7 seed so that we can host that play-in game. So that is a big game as Magic fans to root for the Nets so that the Hawks can lose, and then we can pass them for that 7 seed. Jazz play the Timberwolves. That probably won't be a close game, but who knows? It's the NBA. Anything can happen. Hornets play the Clippers, and then the Thunder and Bucks at 9 p.m. If you want to watch 2 really, really good teams and a player who flops around like a fish looking for free throws in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, check that one out. That one's going to be 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on ESPN this evening. Let's see. Doc 2 mentions, because we dove into the Suggs AB conversation a little bit. Actually, Matthew Keller says here, imagine if Houston had Jets handles, could create his own space he needs to learn. I think at this point in his career, Caleb Houston he could probably learn a couple of other things, but for the most part, Caleb's game is what Caleb's game is going to be, and I think that's fine. I don't know the role that he has on this team moving forward. If his career looks more like he did in Minnesota the other night, I'll take it. If he doesn't, the more people that we have that are serviceable players on this team, I think he's going to start getting phased out. If he did, that would be great. If somehow Caleb works this offseason and comes back with Jet Howard's kind of handle, then you might be looking at a guy who could ride that 8th or 9th spot on the bench. I don't know. But as of right now, what we've seen, he's so far from having his own handle. He is literally just a, off-ball shooter that it would really shock me if all of a sudden we came back into training camp next year and saw that added to Caleb's game. That'd be crazy. Giving up on Suggs as starting point guard, I don't necessarily know giving up. I just think that what we've seen of Suggs, I think there was actually a comment right after here from Mo. Yeah, Mo mentioned Suggs always seems more like a 2 than a 1. I agreed. In those first 5 games of the year, even though he was running point guard, the best possessions that we saw on Jalen Suggs when Franz and Paolo were actually running the point. They were running point forward, and Suggs was able to operate off ball. And he's been great operating off ball. And I think that if we have a player who's really, really good at operating off ball, why would we then take him, force him into the point guard role when we could potentially look to solve that somewhere else? I don't know. I haven't necessarily given up on it. I just think that he is a 2, and if we could find a solution where he's not having to run the point, I think I'm going to take that every single time. And another comment from Derek, Suggs is a 2 guard, always has been. We need a playmaker, floor general. Let's see. I think that's pretty much going to be it, guys. We went a little long, but like I said, super, super hype game today. What a win. What a win for your Orlando Magic, guys. Like, I feel like we've talked for long enough that we've kind of forgotten about the excitement of this, man. If you are here and you have not left a like on this video, even if it's not because of me, even if it's not because of the Six Man Show, which why would you not leave a like for the Six Man Show? Leave a like for this team, man. Leave a like for this community. Games like this is why we step up, is why we have such fun times, is why we enjoy being a part of the Orlando Magic community, the defensive effort that this team showed, getting on here, getting to scream, or you guys getting to talk in all caps, right? Getting over to talk about games like this is just an awesome thing that we get to do. Really love all of you guys taking the time to be out here today. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. The community that we've built has been incredible. We have a couple of days off now. We know that the Magic don't necessarily operate the best on multi-day rest, but hopefully that's not going to be the case when Wednesday night we're going to be playing Houston. But tomorrow night we have off. Tuesday night we have off. And then we are going to be playing Houston on Wednesday evening. But that's pretty much it for me. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. This has been incredible. I love getting to do these. I love getting to do the post games no matter what, because sometimes it can be therapeutic after a loss, just like it is, celebratory after a win. But absolutely, doing these after wins like this is why we have this show. It's why we enjoy doing this with you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of things here in the Six Man Show Postgame Live presented by Rockham. We will see you next time. And until then, let's freaking go Magic.